So I'm watching a video that's called I'm Exposing What They Are Planning. I'm a little bit confused because it says on the bottom Elon Musk's live, and yet there's this guy talking about, I don't know. I'm trying to actually listen to what he's saying, and he's making some really good points. And there was one point where he was really funny because he was saying that on one hand, the politicians are doing whatever they're doing and they've been doing it for a long time. But on the other hand, they also say that we're going to have a new plan, which is to do everything differently and stuff. And I thought that was quite funny how he worded that. But I don't know. I'm listening to it, and he's he's insulting people that would make claims like men can breastfeed and things that are just ridiculous. And I think that is true. There's some things that are ridiculous. I don't know what is ridiculous because I don't know. I don't understand medicine. Medicine does strange things, and if there is a pill that can make a man breastfeed, I don't know. I don't know if I believe it, but I wouldn't necessarily call that stupidity because I don't understand medicine. Hence, I don't understand how a lot of drugs can do what they do. So if there is a drug that can make a man breastfeed, I don't know. I just don't know that. I can't insult. I can't say that's a stupid idea because I don't know. But I do know that there are a lot of things. I haven't really listened to. That's what I need to do now. It's actually making me think that I need to actually do that. I need to listen to some of the things politicians have said. I think I have watched a couple of videos where people have taken um, democratic people and people from the Democratic, no, not the Democratic, the Republican Party. People, I've seen people take things from like Nikki Pawlowski or something Pawlowski. I can't remember her name. That's just come through. But I remember there was some videos where people um, were taking things that people say, things that politicians say, and making a joke out of it. I remember that, but I can't exactly remember what they were saying or anything. But I know it was all about the Republican Party. I'm trying. I find it easier just to remember the party that Donald Trump is in. Um, but yeah. I mean, technically, I feel like I'm not on really either sides. I would describe them actually as like sheep and goats. Goats. You might say that there's not that much difference, and in a way there isn't because they're both quite cute. But there is a difference. Lambs are cute, but they kind of don't really do much. They maybe skip about a little bit and they're very cute, but that's it. But with a goat, if you see a goat skipping about, and they're so talented as well, goats. If you see goats climbing up a hill or like a steep thing, you think, wow, I can't do that. So I'm more impressed with goats than I am with lambs and sheep. I actually rather eat a sheep than a lamb because I don't like the idea of eating a baby. But whatever's the cheapest is usually what I go for. But yeah, the Christians are proud of like being like God's sheep or God's kind of lamb rather than a goat. They would see goats as being the lesser good thing. But yes, technically they're actually the more skilled. They're a bit more intelligent. They're a bit more independent. And so I feel like that is how I feel towards the Democratic Party versus the Republicans. Ones are more like goats because they're more intelligent and a bit more, they want to do things, they do things through documentations and stuff. I mean, on one hand, there is a negative side of that because filling out forms and filling documentations, people can try and argue the documents and say that it's false, say the elections were wrong, and documents can be a lot of work. I know the police force in England, they've started doing a lot more documentation than before, and police are complaining that they can't do their work because they've got too many documents. And I've heard of things like that. But yeah, it is smarter than what the other one's giving power to the people, so they don't believe in a monarchy or superpower, even though they're the more religious ones. Hence, superpower is God. So if you believe in God and the Bible and in Jesus, it's interesting how the Republicans, are actually all against that. They're against having a monarch and they're against the superpower. They want the power to be in the people, but it's a bit unclear on how they actually want the people to have the power. At least with the Democrats, it feels like they want the people to have the power, but they want it to do done in forms and documents to prove it. But yeah, technically, are the forms and documents actually accurate, or is there just a sort of a shadow government? I think it's called a shadow government controlling both sides of the strings, just trying to please the people to stop them from rioting. Is that the case? Maybe. Do I care? No, because I do know that some of Americans don't know where America is on a map, and it's with people like that, it's just like, okay, you want them to have a vote because that's what they want, but at the same time, liberal is where you tolerate other people's ideas that you don't agree with. Now, with me, I feel like a good way to describe it is I like, I can see both sides of the coin. If you want 100 partners in your lifetime, or if you want one partner in your lifetime, I agree with both of you. If you want to have 100 partners in your life, each be basically a different boyfriend every few months or whatever, you can learn a lot from that. You can develop a lot of communications. You can maybe get work through it. You can maybe build up social skills. You can learn a lot by having loads of boyfriends. Okay, you probably also get diseases and stuff if you're sleeping with all of them, but I agree with you. If you want to just have one partner all your life, if you'll gain stability and a stronger connection with that person, and so I agree with both sides of the coin. But there is some things that I don't agree with, such as allowing your parents to decide who you marry at a very young age, or even when you're 12 or something, but being like, yeah, you're going to marry this person in a few years time. I don't agree with that. Now, I am not a liberal, because if I don't agree with something, it's because I really don't agree with it. And you can argue your case as to why it's fine to let your parents decide who you marry, but I think if you need your parents to make big life-changing decisions for you based on what they've said, I think you're an idiot, and you can argue whatever you want, but at the end of the day, I can't be respectful to that decision because I feel like it's a bad decision. And liberal kind of, allows people to think, what they want, even if you don't agree. And I feel like maybe this is the reason why the Republican Party has so much power, because the Democrats, which are supposed to be the more smarter ones, are because they want to have things done informed, and I agree more with their policies. I like Obama, he's good, and Biden is okay. I think I think he's a bit old, maybe, but yeah, you know what? If he wants to continue running, if people like him, then that's great. I feel like it's harder though to insult someone who's of an older generation, because they were born in a different time, and they probably, I like traditions and stuff, and I feel like if someone's older, they stick to more traditions. And it's weird because I can say that I'm more conservative, which means to like conserve and go back to traditions and stuff. But conservative also can mean just conserve, like as in I'm concealing or conserving, holding back my real thoughts. And yeah, I think when it comes to politics, I have been holding back my real thoughts, because really progressive is my thoughts. So as times change, as people change, the laws should change, and society the government should change according to how society is. But the problem is, if you don't like the people in the world because you feel like they've just rejected you and don't want you and aren't interested in you, then it feels like, although I am a progressive, I feel like right now I'm not at the progressive stage. I'm at the I don't give a shit stage. Hence why I've had to be a conservative and hold back my opinions, and I don't know. I feel like there's two words of conservative. One can mean just to conserve. Doesn't that mean like to hide, or just to keep inside until a time where you can actually feel you can speak your mind? I don't know, because it could also mean sticking with old traditions and ways and stuff. But yeah, there are some old traditions that I like. But yeah, it's very hard to insult Biden just because um, it's like my granny. She's very strong with her Christianity and her belief, and it's hard to insult her just because I know she was brought up in a different time where, Christianity was just what everyone did, and therefore I have told her about my religion, and how Eve wasn't the bad one for eating knowledge, because it's a good thing, and she just doesn't, she can't accept it, and it's hard to, it's painful to know that she just can't accept anything else other than what she's been taught, but it's just her age and stuff. So yeah, I don't want to insult Biden, and I want to insult that party less because I see them like goats. But yeah, it would be good if they stop considering themselves as being liberal and start thinking about all the stupid things that the politicians on the other side, whatever the other side is, are saying, and you know, bring it to light. If people are saying, if politicians are saying stupid things that aren't true, you know, expose it. And I don't even know what they are. I know I did see a couple of things where people where they say stupid things, but you know, you shouldn't just tolerate politicians saying stupid things. I believe that. And but yeah, as for the Republican, I think it would actually be easy to destroy the Republic Party, because the Republic Party, the Democrats is more about, you know, just giving people votes and options to change. So if things should change, you give the view and stuff to the public. Now, technically, what you tell the public, or what you know, if you've got all the people at the top who are making all the ballots and stuff agreeing with something, you know, even if the public do agree against something else, you know, for I want to go into a Big Brother or a dark show where I see who wants to torture me, you know, just because people are voting for something to happen or something negative to happen to me, just because the public want to kill me or whatever, you know, you don't actually have to do it. That's, you know, you just have to tell them that they're doing it. So with democracy, even though it is not exactly intelligent because you don't know who's voting for what, it can, you can fake it in a way. Like, I don't know if that's happened in the past. I don't care if it's happened in the past. It's hard running a country. I know that, because everyone has different views, and you have to try and make the country happy, otherwise they're going to stop rioting. So I get that. But yeah, when it comes to the Republic, I feel like it is even worse, because it's giving power to the people, but not explaining how. How do you give power to the people? What, by destroying the monarch and the superpower? Well, aren't you just like destroying Christ and God in that process? And well, if I come onto the scene, I'm trying to think about what my future happens. If I come onto a scene soon and say that I'm God, say that I'm Christ, you know, the Republican Party is going to be against me. Why? Because that's not what they believe in. They don't believe in a monarch or a superpower. It's, at least for the Democrats, it's kind of like, well, if a monarch or a superpower does come along, you know, you can give people the vote on whether or not they want to support me or not. And if they don't want to support me, then let them believe that, and I'll go into hiding and just wait until people start realizing the truth, and then maybe do another. I don't know what will happen in my life. I feel like the Bible says that I need to hide for 3.5 years, and I feel like that's a good idea. Um, I don't want to just do nothing all my life, but I, I do want to die, but I don't want to die. I'm still confused of whether or not I want to die. You know, I still feel like giving me a gun so I can shoot myself is just one of the best options, because I just kind of want to give up. But maybe people won't want that. So, well, I think people will want that. Hence why even if people are voting for that to happen, maybe you shouldn't let that happen. But I don't really care, actually. I'll be happier in my next life. So I'm whatever. Sometimes you shouldn't listen to the people, basically, is what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm trying to think about like how, because I don't, I less agree with the Republican Party. But if I start saying that, you know, you might be, you know, you might be, the Republican Party might have a lot of power right now, but technically it is all about not giving power to a superpower or to a monarch. And well, technically I am both those things, and therefore, you know, if I come onto the scene, that party isn't going to be for me. And I am, you know, will they change? Will they not want to be Republican any longer? Will they turn to Democrat and want to decide voting wise if the public can accept me? It would be kind of cool if my children though were like a sort of monarch. If I had a child and they went on to become like the king or queen of America, I think that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. And I could have loads as well if they have, so I can have, if like there's some people that can't produce eggs themselves and want kids, I could donate my egg, and then I could have like kings and queens in all the different states. I think that would be kind of cool. That's what Victoria did actually in England. She had, the reason why England got so powerful, I think, was through Victoria having loads of kids and then marrying them off. I think that's actually quite a good idea. And also just realised Queen Victoria is actually David Beckham's partner. Anyway, the timeline is very weird, but I know that I have inspired it. But anyway.